What are the best reading comprehension strategies for elementary students? Reading comprehension is one of the most important skills for success in school. It affects not only language arts, but essentially every subject, including math, science, social studies, and so on. And as students progress through school, the reading comprehension demands will only continue to increase. So how can you help your child develop stronger reading comprehension skills? Number one is, if you're reading with your child, make sure you ask questions along the way. Don't just have them read from start to finish without asking any questions. Stop them after every few pages and ask them to summarize what happened in the story so far. Ask them about specific characters. Why are they like that? What are their traits? You can even ask them to make predictions. What do you think will happen next? Or they can make inferences. Why do you think this happened? The more you can ask these kinds of questions, the more they'll become an active rather than a passive reader and develop stronger reading comprehension skills. If your child is a bit older and is able to read on their own, they're reading chapter books, again, ask them questions about it. Ideally, try to stop them along the way, even if it's after one or two chapters, and ask them those same kinds of questions. Ask them about the plot, ask them about the setting, the characters, ask them inference questions, and so on. Strategy number 2 is to teach your child to visualize as they're reading. Some students are naturally able to form images in their mind when they read or when someone is reading to them. But other students need this concept of visualization to be taught to them. The way you can do this is you can take a short story, maybe just 5 or 6 lines or so, and read the story out loud to your child one line at a time. For example, the first line of story might be, John was sitting by a campfire with his friends. Stop right there and ask your child questions about that line to help them form a visual information. How old is John? Is he tall? Is he short? What color hair does he have? How many friends were around him? What do they look like? What time of day was it? Were they doing anything with the fire? Maybe they were roasting marshmallows. Have them create this vivid image of the information you read to them. Do that same thing for each line in the story. And then when you're done with the story, ask them to retell it back to you. First with all of their extra visual images, and then more with what's directly in the story. As students get a little bit older, you don't necessarily have to go line by line of a short story. You can do longer paragraphs or longer segments of stories and have them form these visual images. Strategy number 3 is highlighting. Highlighting is another great strategy to help students become more active rather than passive readers. And what you can do is you can teach your child, ideally on a big whiteboard if you can, that there are 3 elements that we should look for when we read. The first is the topic, which is 1, 2, or 3 words describing the passage. This might be the beach or blueberries. Whenever we identify the topic, we highlight it in blue. Now, the next element that we look for is the main idea, which we highlight in green. The main idea is information about the topic. So let's say the topic was World War I, which we highlighted in blue. The main idea might be there were many causes for World War I, which we would highlight in green. Then the third element that we look for are the important details, which are important salient information from the passage, which we want to highlight in yellow. And we want to make sure students don't highlight every word on the page, as many of them love to do, but they're really just highlighting words and phrases, and also really just highlighting what's very important, not just random non-important details. So you can even pull in news articles, or they can do this with a passage from school. Have them read the passage first, then go back and highlight the topic in blue, main idea in green, and important details in yellow. And then you can even, as an added bonus, have them write a 1 to 2 line summary describing the passage in their own words. And of course, when they write, make sure that they use proper capitalization, punctuation, and grammar, since reading and writing are very much connected. Like I said, reading is such a critical skill, especially reading comprehension. It plays a role in essentially every subject in school. So the sooner you can teach your child strategies to improve their reading comprehension skills, the easier the skill will become for them. I am the founder and director of EVL Coaching, where we specialize in providing one-on-one academic tutoring to students in grades pre-K to 12. We happen to do a great deal of reading comprehension tutoring, both in person as well as virtually. So contact us today to see how we can help your child.